So I've got a lot of remote controls. Okay, this is maybe a little bit of an exaggeration. I've got Amazon Fire TV, which is this remote. So I've got this Logitech sound system, which comes with this remote control. And I've got a Samsung television, which comes with the remote that you can see on top of the speaker there. I've got a Now TV box, which has this remote control. I've also got this Logitech sound system remote control, but this one is radio frequency rather than infrared, so this won't work with the new universal remote. So really, I've got these 5 remote controls here, and it occurred to me that really I should be using a universal remote, because why have 5 remotes when you can have 1? So I bought this URC7960 one for all universal remote control, and I bought this from eBay for £14.45. Okay, so I've already opened the packet, but I'll open it again so you can see what you get inside and how it's presented. So you get the remote control, and you get a load of booklets. And these booklets are, some of them are just foreign language booklets. One of them is a code list, so you need, these are basically numbers that you have to enter into the universal remote for lots of different brands of Freeview boxes, sound systems, TVs, etc. Okay, so you need this. This is like a sort of Quickstart guide thing. Seemed a bit pointless to me because the English instructions really tell you all that sort of stuff, but in a booklet. So I'm going to just use that basically. So these are the 2 that you actually need. The remote itself is quite stylish. It's got this sort of shiny black front on it and a silvery chromy surround, and then this kind of matte finish on the back, which I'm afraid I've already greased up with fish and chips yesterday. And there's some like blue LEDs when you press some buttons on here. It's quite a nice quality remote, looks good, looks like it's for an expensive TV. It weighs quite a lot because it's got 4 AAA batteries in it, so it definitely feels substantial. If you take the back off this remote control, so this here, which is called a JP1, I'm not sure if you can see it very clearly, there we go, a JP1 port. There's a cable you can buy so that you can actually plug this remote control into a computer and sort of program the remote control. Okay, so given that we've got the remote and the instructions, what are our chances of being able to put these remotes in one universal remote? Well, there's one small thing I'd like to start with, and that is the Amazon Fire infrared remote here. So actually, I don't need to put that on here. You'd have to manually add them onto this, because this is actually a learning remote control. You can actually train individual buttons to do individual functions from another remote control, even if that remote isn't listed in this booklet as being compatible with this remote control. But anyway, this Amazon remote, I don't even use it. What I actually use is a USB keyboard. So that just leaves these 3 remotes that I'd like to put on here. So let's start with the easiest one, the Samsung remote control. So if I look in this booklet at the TV section and go to S, it's listed alphabetically by brand. There's loads of codes listed, but apparently they're listed by popularity. So the first one is 0812. And so now we have to use that code 0812, and the way you do that is to hold this button at the top that says magic. You hold it for 3 seconds. This light will then flash. You then type the number in, 0812. It flashes again, and I believe that's it. It's now set up, it's now trained for a Samsung TV. So now we can move on to the next remote control, which I wasn't sure whether or not this would be compatible with it. My Logitech sound system, which is basically for a computer, it's not really for a TV or anything. So I have a look in the code book, and there's a section on amps. Here we go, and if we go down to Logitech, there's one number, 1408. So if I hold the magic button, and then move this, the left and right thing, to amp here, and then type URC7960. I've now set up this amp function here to control a Logitech sound system. Now number 3 is more complicated, so that's this Roku remote control, or Now TV remote control. This isn't in the list of codes. So what that means is that I've got to manually train this remote control to use these functions. So again, if you hold the magic button for 3 seconds, it flashes. You can then move to, I'm going to put this on set-top box because that's sort of what it is. So then if you type 975, it enters this sort of training mode. If I press OK, then you align the 2 remote controls like that. Press one button on the remote, you get a fast flashing light. Press the same button on the remote you want to train, and that's it. It's now trained. This OK button is now trained for this OK button. So that was quite fast, probably. So because you have to do it quite fast, because if you don't, then this kind of resets and you have to go through the whole procedure all over again. But I'll do it once more just to demonstrate it. So hold the magic button for 3 seconds, move to set-top box, 975. I'll train the right button this time. Right, it's flashing. Right on this, double flashed there. You just leave it for a few seconds and that will be programmed in. And it's as simple as that. So it does mean that you have to go through and decide the mapping that you want. So this button on here, what the equivalent button will be on this new remote control. But thankfully, on the Now TV remotes, there's only a handful of buttons anyway. So then using the remote normally, you have to use these left and right buttons up here to move between TV, set-top box and amp, or whichever ones you've got set up. There's also DVD, MP3 and game on here. But basically what that means is that this can be set up for 6 different remote controls. More if you were happy to have different keys controlling different remote controls on one particular preset. So for example, you could have it on TV and you could have these top buttons control functions on your TV, and a few of these bottom functions control functions on your DVD player. So here's the remote control and behind it, so this is not going to be in focus now, but I've got it set to TV, and if I press the power button on the remote control, it turns the television off, so that works. So I'll turn it back on again. And in fact, all the main features seem to work, and crucially with this TV, because I've got so many devices plugged into it, the source button works as well, but it's called AV on this remote control. I'm now going to use this button on here to move to amp, and if I press that, well, so it's actually turned off now because it was on, and yeah, all the volume controls and things work. And finally, I've got the Now TV box, which I've set up as a set-top box on this remote control. That works too. I did have to train some of the features twice, 2 or 3 times, before they worked properly. I think I didn't have the remote controls properly aligned when I trained the buttons, because you're supposed to have them on a flat surface pointing at each other. So all in all, this has been a complete success. I've managed to successfully replace my Samsung remote, my Logitech remote, the Roku remote, the Now TV remote. I've managed to put them all onto one remote control. So really, a complete success. I highly recommend this remote control. The only thing to say is that I've read some reviews that say that these buttons eventually break on the remote. I can't obviously validate that because I've only had the remote for sort of 3 days. So I'll keep you posted on that if the situation changes. But yeah, absolutely well chuffed with this. A much neater room now with just one remote control. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for all my unboxing videos. And I will be giving away a fake Apple Watch clone at 1,000 subscribers. And we're almost there, so all the more reason to subscribe. Thanks for watching.